Hello, everyone. Hi, this is Doug Wilkerson with Central Christian Center and Saturday Night Live Life Recovery Ministry. We're so glad that you're here and that you're with us here on this encouraging word with Doug. And so, my main purpose of these lives on Thursday, encouraging word with Doug, is to try to give you some hope, to try to give you some peace, help you in navigating this life, because life is messy, and and we have all kinds of different thoughts and beliefs, and I personally believe that the Word of God is true. The trouble is, some of the things I learned in my earlier life, even though they indicated they were in the scriptures and were what the scriptures meant, I found out that wasn't necessarily true. And I really hadn't planned on saying this part, but I still believe it to be so because it's part of my own journey. I've had times in my earlier walk that and I'm not trying to get on to anybody, because most of us are really trying to do the best that we can most of the time, because that's the way we are. We want to do the best we can until we get so frustrated that sometimes we give up, and that happens. And that makes me feel bad for you that are in that spot. But hey, hang on. It's not over. Hopefully something that I say today might be able to help you in your walk, in your relationship, in this path that you're in. But my point that I'm getting to right now is that sometimes you have to rethink everything that you've known. And I remember one particular point that I refer to it as the dark night of the soul, because I was in kind of a desperate place. I was totally overwhelmed and kind of confused. And so I wanted to know God and to know Him fully. I wanted to know Him. And as the scripture says, in the power of His resurrection, I wanted to know Him and that power, that source. And to do that, I had to rethink everything. And I wanted to know, is it what I believed, or is it something that somebody told me to believe, or with good intentions, people have told us to believe things. And I've probably even has said the same thing. But the fact of it is, it may be in our best interest to believe those things, but we have to know it. We have to believe it. We have to recognize it. It's not their truth or somebody else's truth, but it's my truth. It's what I know. Even if it's a scripture, because I believe that it is true, but for it to be effective in your life, and this is what I'm trying to get to right here, for it to be effective in your life, you need to know that it's your truth. Because when it's your truth, even though it's the scriptures, it's got to be your truth, then you're able to stand. Then you're able to have faith in that you know. And for me, that's where I needed to go to, so that I could start building my, what we can call it, faith, my belief, my structure, my stability in that I believe, and that God is true, that there is a God, and that I could trust Him and I could believe in Him. And I'll be quite honest with you, I was in the ministry several years before I had this time of really coming to myself. Several different scriptures make reference of different ones coming to themselves. And that's kind of that awakening, that aha moment. And I want that for you. And that's kind of a long opening to what we're talking about here today. And probably since I've taken so long, I I may not be able to get through all of this, but today's title is again. It's the science of resiliency, science of resiliency, and the 10 traits of emotionally resilient people. And this is part 4 in the area of the science of happiness. And several years ago, I went through the information by Dr. Tal Ben Shahar on the science of happiness. And it was very helpful. But as I went back and was going to revisit it for these talks, the resilience was in that talk, but I really didn't go into it. But it really caught my attention this time, and I know there's some things in here that I need, and I'm learning some stuff, and I'm digging deeper and deeper into it. I think I already have my topic for next week, but I wanted to get these things out, and hopefully I can get all this out today. And that's these 10 traits of emotionally resilient people. So I'm going to list these 10 traits to start off with. Emotionally resilient people know their boundaries. Emotionally resistant people keep good company. So important. Emotionally resilient people cultivate self-awareness. That's good. Emotionally resilient people practice acceptance. Man, we got to know reality. We got to accept reality. That's so important. And so emotionally, this is number 5, emotionally resilient people are willing to sit in silence. Oh, yeah. Is it all right for me to say some of my best times is to be in silence and that's where I'm able to come to that place where there's not so much spin around in my head and it's quiet. And then one writer says that silence is the voice of God. And then you're able to hear with your spirit. It's so important. Let's go on. Number 6, emotional resilient people don't have to have all the answers. Well, I remember the time that I figured that out. Whew. Emotionally resilient people have a menu of self-care habits. Self-care habits. We need to know how to take care of ourselves. And self-care is really a healthy way of addressing you. Because when you're not healthy, it affects everybody around you. Isn't that true? Number 8, emotionally resilient people enlist their team. We don't live alone. We don't survive alone. We're not healthy alone. We're not able to recover alone. It takes a group. It takes a team. Even though we fight against, particularly when we're having difficulties or we're struggling, we want to seclude ourselves, isolate ourselves, withdraw, hide out. Anyway, we need a team. Number 9, emotionally resilient people consider the possibilities. We have to be able to open up our thinking, our brain, to realize that just what we're looking at or what we're feeling is not all there is. In fact, that's just a slice of reality. It's bigger, way, way bigger. The possibilities are endless. We'll talk some about that here in a minute. Number 10, and big number 10, emotional resilient people get out of their head. Some people say when you're in your head, you're behind enemy lines. It's scary in there, right? Psychology defines resilience as this. It says, it's the process of adapting well. That's good. Adapting well. I'm going to continue on. In the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threat, significant source of stress, such as family or relational problems, serious health problems, or workplace or financial stressors. We all have some of that, right? We all have some of that. Much of resilience involves bouncing back, okay? Like the rubber ball that bounces, you bounce back, but it's not just bouncing. It's also that from the difficulty of experiencing any issue, it can also involve potential personal growth. Not only are you bounced back to where you were, but you're able to grow and become, you see more, you know more, your experiences, and you're able to take those experiences, even though they may have been challenging or even hard. They were really opportunities, what I call golden opportunities, which are really challenges. Some people call them problems, and most of us call them problems, maybe in the beginning, but the fact of it is they're really opportunities to grow so that we learn. And that's really what a lot of life is about, is adapting and learning and growing. Some other definitions. This is out of one of the dictionaries. This is on an online dictionary. It says, capable of regaining its own shape, position after bending. In other words, it's able to go back after it's been bent, stretching, compression, or deformation. So it's able to regain its shape or stability, but it's not just those things, that elasticity aspect, but it's also more than that. And that was talking about the general physics of things, but this is of a person recovering easily and quickly from shock, illness, or hardship. Recovering quickly. That's somebody that's resilient, that can bounce back. We need to be able to bounce back, particularly with all the different things that hit us. And we need to do things to help us on that. And that's what we're going to be talking about, the 10 traits of emotionally resilient people. And we'll start with number 1. Emotionally resilient people know their boundaries. They understand that there is a separation between who they are at their core, and the difficulties that they're facing or the traumas that's going on. There's a difference between who we are and the situation, what's happening, what my doings. There's a difference between who I am and what I'm doing or what's affecting me, okay? All right? We need to recognize that. And that we recognize that this suffering that's going on is temporary. They're just, they're going to come and they're going to pass. This too will pass. And that what's happening here is we understand, this is what's going on right now, but that's not my entire story. It may not even be a chapter in my book of my story. It may be just 1 or maybe 2 pages. And then we go on. Now, we learn from those events, and they equip us and empower us and inform us. But we must not get stuck in those events. If I talk as much on the rest of them, we're going to have problems. Okay, so you guys are going to have to listen quicker. How about that? Okay. Number 2, emotionally resilient people keep good company. So what we need to do is we emotionally resilient people seek out good company to be with other similar emotional resilient people, and they say that we're most like the 5 main people that we hang around. So you may want to look at who you're hanging around most of the time, and that kind of gives you an idea of what's making up your mental, emotional, spiritual psyche. How about that? And oftentimes we we build these resilient people know their boundaries. Oh, we're at good company. That's what I thought. I lost my mental track there. Good company, and oftentimes we pick people that are supportive, and these supportive people also give us the freedom to have the space to grieve, to work through problems, have emotional processing. Sometimes it's good emotions. Sometimes it's not so good emotions, and that they're willing. These support people we're talking about are able to listen, and they are able to encourage, but they're not there to fix our problems. They're there to support us in the issue that we're in, or the trauma that we're in, or the diversity that we may be living in. Okay. Number 3. Emotionally resilient people cultivate self-awareness. Self-awareness. Being blissfully unaware, somehow coming to that place of escaping reality, pretending that it's not there. I just was trying to pull up that statement that Scarlett said in the Gone with the Wind. There it is. That just escape reality, that if she believes it's not there, then it's not there. Or using some sort of either that would be a behavior or medication or drugs or alcohol to just numb out, escape. That's not healthy. But emotionally healthy individuals cultivate self-awareness. So they recognize where they're at, because we need to know where we are so that we're able to do something about it. So escape, just trying to avoid and escape. And sometimes we may have to do that. All right. That's true, because that's part of our survival mechanism to try to stay alive, to avoid pain, seek pleasure. But the fact of it is, we never go on and grow and develop and mature if we continually escape the difficulties or reality, if we pretend it's not there. Number 4, emotionally resilient people practice acceptance. Pain is pain. Stress is stressful. And healing takes time. Healing takes time. It's a process, okay? And so we need to practice acceptance of the way it is, so that after we accept it, not that you have to like it, but you accept it, okay? That it is what it is, that it's reality, and that you feel what you feel, but you don't stay in those feelings. You recognize that pain, but then you begin to do something about them. You begin to process them. And when you're oftentimes when you're in pain, all you want to do is get out of it. I understand. And when you're not the one that's in pain, but somebody that is in pain, all you want to do is try to relieve their suffering. But the fact of it is, we need to accept what's going on here, and so that we realize that emotionally resilient people understand that stress and pain is a part of living. It may not be the most enjoyable part, but it is a part, and it's part of the ebb and flow of life. And that helps us to grow and develop. I know I've said that several times. At the as hard as it is in the moment, it is better to come to terms with the truth of the pain, okay, instead of ignoring it. Okay, that's what acceptance is. Don't suppress it. Don't deny it. You accept it. And acceptance is not about giving up. Okay, it's not giving up, giving in. It's accepting that it's the way that it is, and that you don't accept it and then just let go, give up. No. What we do is we learn. It's about learning to express the full range of our emotions and trust that we're going to bounce back. We can't see all of it right now. You don't know the last chapter of the book. You don't know the last page. And so we believe and trust that it will get better. Now, think about it for a second. You say, well, I don't think it will, but the fact of it is, you've thought that in the past. You didn't think you could make it. And you did. You didn't know how you were going to do it. You didn't think you could do it, but you did it. And if you did it then, and you didn't know how you were going to make it, maybe, just maybe, I think probably you can make it now. Because I believe there's that unseen force that works in our life. And if we will not sabotage ourselves, it'll go a lot better for us. Think about it. See what you think. Okay, number 5. Emotionally resilient people are willing to sit in silence. Okay? We are masters of distraction, right? Okay. We distract. That's what a lot of our society is: entertainment, distraction, diversion, all of that to help us to escape reality. And I'm not saying that all of it is bad, because we all have to have recreation, and to help us to let our brain and our emotions to be able to recover, because it's not stress that kills us, according to Tal Ben-Shahar. It's the lack of recovery from stress. So we need these times of cycling off, but then we need to then come back on, because then our cup is full, we're refreshed, we're ready to go, instead of just always being in that place of escape. So, and setting in silence, we are the we need to recognize, yes, we have some of these distractions, but we need to have some of these methods that we've mentioned a while ago about things to help us, and whether it's prayer or meditation or mindfulness, these times of reflection, and sometimes you can do it while you're driving a car, you can do it while you're exercising, you can do it while you're jogging, you can do it while you're fishing, and a lot of people do. They're open to that, and I'm not against that. And so we need to recognize about this silence of coming to this place where we really do allow ourselves to hear, what the Spirit is saying to us. And some people say, well, I don't know, how do you learn the voice of Spirit? I've said that, and I still sometimes I struggle with that, but I'm a whole lot better than I used to be. And that is, the way you figure that out is by you experiment or practice in that place of listening, and then testing out what you heard and seeing if what you heard was the voice of God, or if it was just something out of your own head, or if it was some emotion that's crawling up your back, if you know what I mean. So what we what we need to do is we need to just somewhere we need to come to these places, get quiet, slow down, let things cycle down, and without judgment, okay, and without avoidance, that we're able to come into that place and listen to what's going on. And sometimes you have to get underneath all those layers of thoughts that's whipping through your head. What do you think about that? Well, it seemed to take me longer to get through these than I had planned. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right here, and maybe I won't take so long to finish up the next 5 and talk about them. And if I can get through them quickly, maybe I'll go into my next thought that I have, and that's about things to do to build your resiliency, how to come to being able to be one of these emotionally resilient people. So, hey, thanks for listening. I appreciate you being here. We have all kinds of things going on here at the church, Central Christian Center. In fact, this is third Thursday, and there's going to be quite a few folks out on Main Street passing out some flyers and things. We got church in the park this week. We're going to have, I know we're having hamburgers from what I understand. We may be having some I know we're having hot dogs. I think we may be having some hamburgers. I'm not sure about the hamburgers, but the last time we did this, we did. So Pastor Hank kind of likes hamburgers. So, and then Pastor Hank will be sharing the word. We're going to be stuff for the kids, and there's going to be all kinds of things. Bring a lawn chair. This is at Leonard Park, down on 4th Street, right if you're heading towards Range Line from Maine, before you go underneath that railroad track there on 4th Street going to Range Line. That's where Leonard Park is, to the south of 4th Street. So we got a lot of things going on, but what we really want more than anything else here at Central Christian Center and at Saturday Night Live is we want to help you, and we want your life to be better, and we want you better, and if you're better, that helps us, because then that makes us better, because life is better with you. So until next time, hey, make healthy choices. Think about these things that we talked about. Think about the silence, being silent, and listen. Listen to what's going on instead of just what's spinning around your head. So may the Lord bless you and keep you, and may his face shine upon you and give you his peace. Till next time, take care of yourself.